Also, Emma Carney. Sheila was brilliant the last time these two teams played in round 3 last year, Meg.
Yeah, got the 10 coaches' votes, kicked a career-high 5 goals. We've already said that perhaps Gillard goes to her to try and shut her down. But then again, of course, who goes to Talia Randall, who's had such a presence up forward, one of the best contested marks in her comp. So there are matchups everywhere. And as you say, Loz, as the teams go up, you think there's an argument for both sides. North have been overwhelming in their success, but Melbourne will believe they have the ingredients to challenge them today, and according to me, they're going to win by 13 points, so no worries.
Oh, the tension. This is what we love about finals. It's palpable. You can feel it. The electricity just crackling through your TV screens, and we're all set to go. Look at the blue and white. So brilliant to see this team that struggled for so long in the men's competition get behind this formidable, ruthless women's team. Will we see one of the biggest upsets in sport we've seen for some time? We're all set. First preliminary final. You're going to see it live and exclusive on Fox Footy all this afternoon. It's the defending champs against second place Melbourne.
Get boot to ball. Heath is there. Ball goes again. Just tries to shuffle it out. Hanks gets onto it. And straight on the boot it goes up towards Harris, who didn't charge quite at the contest. And Carney's won herself a free kick for a hold. But Simon just trying to nullify her impact early. Short to Rennie. We know this is North's game. They like to build it up with short kicks from the back. If the D's can hold that, it'll go a long way to their performance this afternoon. Fabulous work. And Taylor looks for the wide option, and it's Chaplin, who you mentioned came out off a very short recovery from a hammy. She'll be one to keep an eye on today.
Vitally important for the way that the D's move the footy in that intercept possession role, but also her metres gained. She's such a crucial player for them.
Goldrick now goes long, looking for Harris. Gets worried out of it in the contest. Fitzsimon on the loose footy. Bounces it inside 50. Zanka. Oh, and a good tackle too. That's going to be holding the footy. McNamara.
Huge start. That's what you want. As soon as you get the ball inside forward 50, you've got to put pressure on North Melbourne.
Harris lurking for a hand pass here too, K-Mac, sorry, because I'm not sure McNamara thinks she has the leg, although she's going back now. This would be a big blow. No, in the end, she chips it short to Paxman.
Well, there's Roos players turning around asking the umpire if that's 15, but my argument to that is have arm across inside your D50. Just a little bit of a lapse of concentration there. Good pick up, Joe. That was right on Eliza McNamara's distance and passed it off accordingly.
Paxi Paxman, the veteran, in game number 92. Can she give the D's the perfect start? Oh, she's saluted. D's are on the board early. The dream start for Mick Stanier and his D's. As Paxi Paxman from as good as directly in front and really off the work of McNamara. The pressure inside the forward 50. Perfect start for the D's.
Well, it's this pressure inside your forward 50 first. Zanka to force this, and then McNamara comes in to close down. That's finals footy. Jazz Ferguson just couldn't get the hand pass away. And then a nice little chip to Paxi Paxman to go back and kick the first goal of this prelim final.
What a start from Melbourne. Men's captain will be happy with that. Family in tow, great to see. Ricochets off Pearce, takes possession of it. Off to Hall taken high. Umpire was on the wrong side to see it. The out-of-zone umpire spotted it and paid the free kick. Kate Hoare outstanding last week. The win over the Adelaide Crows. Here's Paxman again. Paxi drives it in the Harris direction. It gets to the back and Wotherspoon marks. Another Melbourne opportunity.
Well, this is great footy from Melbourne. Both times they've had possession of the footy. They have really valued it. So you think back to the build-up chain, they got the intercept possession. Chaplin just looked for something to open up. If you make mistakes or you blaze away against North, it brings them into the game on their counter-attack. But they are valuing each and every possession that they are getting out there this afternoon so far.
Well, she was a star cricketer before she converted to football. You can still hit big sixes in footy. Two goals on the board for Melbourne. What a start this is. Exactly what Kate McCarthy suggested Melbourne would need to do to have any chance.
Here it's 12 disposals to 2 for this first term, 6 marks to 1. This is a beautiful kick out to the lead. And Wotherspoon, her 2 finals have been 2 of the best games of footy I have seen her play. Well, she started her 3rd final in pretty good fashion.
I guess with Zanker, so important back in the side, that extra tall down forward with Harris and Wotherspoon, just to stretch that North defence. And again from the middle, it's the D's. This time it's the captain, Kate Hall. Harris has given a big shove in the contest. And Shannon will receive the free kick.
3 centre bounce clearances to 0 in this game so far.
Shannon goes long towards the outer side. McNamara at the front of the contest. Shuffles it out. Gat looking for Garner. Overran the footy. McNamara's onto it. Fitzsimon doesn't have any time and space, but somehow got boot to ball. Carney now. Can she find a target? She can. It's Bruton. So can the Roos have their first meaningful foray forward? Bruton in the end has to go long. And a couple of the D's defenders can work it out. In the end, Gillard goes back to Paxman, who's under pressure from Randall. Goldrick. Paxman slow to rise. King has her kick smothered. And it's locked in for a stoppage.
I think that was a big head clash between Randall and Paxman. We'll have a look at the replay. Yeah, it was. Both of them slow to get up. Both doctors will have a close look at that. Both eyes on the footy, though. Fair contest.
Front forward by Sheeran towards the teeth of goal. How's the bounce on that? Not good for North Melbourne. It's their opening score. Let's get down to Nat Edwards.
So Melbourne are wearing black armbands today, Al, and that is in memory of Talia Gillard's grandfather, who unfortunately passed away during the week. So our thoughts are with the Gillard family. And just another note as well, I mean, Melbourne have such amazing support all around the AFLW, but their men's side has turned out today. We've got Max Scorn, the likes of Jake Bowie, Jake Milksham and Colton Foster all here today supporting the girls.
And they'll be pretty impressed with their start too, Nat. Fitzsimon gets flung to the deck.
It's the marking game where the dominance is occurring. 7-2 marks. That just means complete control. When you're able to do that against North Melbourne, they usually do that to other sides.
Sheeran just tried to burrow away through. Tripodi the 1-2 with Gat. Then flips it over the top to Garner. Back to Tripodi. His kick comes under pressure. Gillard comes at the footy. Well done. The kick spears low, but it works out okay for McNamara. So from the outer wing, McNamara taking her time. And now 50-metre penalty. Well, this is costly. So McNamara will be brought almost within range. No one stands the mark. She has a flying shot towards goal. It's just offline. A couple of lapses in concentration from the North defenders to be awake to that when McNamara was streaming inside 50.
So North's long-time captain, McCarty, she handed over the reins to Jasmine Garner this year. Tripodi looks towards O'Shea at half-back, but Paxman gets across, shuts that down. Shannon. An emergency for last year's grand final. How desperately she'd love to be a part of one this year. Kick to O'Shea. He's Garner taking a spell. O'Shea uses a speed. And past it, Birch. The three-time premiership player. Good use. Finds Smith.
Saw O'Shea do a lot of that in the first final against Hawthorn. She was absolutely everywhere. 500 plus metres gained and 24 disposals in that game.
You can see the one-on-ones ahead of the footy. Gets out towards King at the back. Bruton went for space and found Sheeran. We look inside 50. Randall in a one-on-one. She's got the favourable belt momentarily. But Chaplin back onto it. And we'll find Paxson with a fabulous kick. Paxi now dangerous towards Hall. He's up to the task. What a final series she's had, Kate Hall. Really led from the front for the D's. Waiting for the right option. Finds it through the middle. Grabs that at Campbell, but that's okay. Sizing up her options in the end. Heads it down long. Birch used the body really well initially against Marnie and then took the grab over the back.
Just settling into this game now, aren't they, North Melbourne? Getting those turnovers, starting to get the game a little bit more on their terms. Melbourne cutting off these short kicks really well, but just opening up late.
Sheeran's caught, managed to get it back to Craven. Under pressure, slapped on by Sheila, clever to Riddell. Didn't see much of her yet. Seen plenty of her this season, of course. Taylor, hand pass was a hot one. Bannon did brilliantly. Away it goes to Ebert, to Wotherspoon, to McNamara, who started so brightly. Zanker calling for it over the back. McNamara goes in her direction. She's got 3 to contend with. Gets a hold of it. She couldn't possibly finish this. That would have been some sort of a goal. 1 on 3 on the spin. Another behind to the D's.
One thing I hope they identify, though, out of that, a 1 on 3, you probably can't rely on against 3 defenders of North Melbourne that you're going to win that or even bring it to ground. Eden Zanker, that was incredible what she just did, but need to lower their eyes going inside their forward half, because if 4 players are sucking back to the line, there's got to be some short leads on.
Sheila went long. McNamara wrestling against Bruton, who comes away with the footy. Dinky little kick finds Eddie. It'll work out okay. She wants to move it quickly. As we get to Craven on the bounce, so it's slip right for her legs. O'Hare back inside. It's Simon. The kick's under pressure, works out well. And Bannon. Still a couple of kicks from goal. Looking sideways initially. And now just goes long. Zanker again, good space in front. They're lurking in front. There's Kate Hall popping up at the right time. Yes, they've got their third, the D's. They're on fire at Icon Park. That inside 50 count sits at 5-2. We have seen sides this year, particularly in the first term. Hawthorn did it a couple of weeks ago. Hold North early with some pressure, but have been unable to score themselves, whereas the D's have been able to apply this scoreboard pressure early. It's 3 goals to zip.
Well, further to the point, if you're going to attract 3 and 4 defenders to one player, Eden Zanker brought that perfectly to ground. Bennett was at ground level. They had a couple of players just crumbing front and centre. Have a look at that. Maggie Marnie, Shelley Heath, the handball out to Kate Hoare, who had that genuine one-on-one with Ferguson for quite some time. And hasn't she been doing that well in finals or across this 2025 season?
Unbelievable. So 23 goals for Eden Zanker in 2023 is the most in a season by a D, now equalled this year by Kate Hoare. What can North construct out of the middle? Sheeran couldn't take it. Garner gave it off. Jamming it on the boot. Rennie deep inside the 50. King is there. Gillard there with her. Not towards Bogus. Kick goals in every game. Continues the trend. What a first season in the AFLW for Laheen Bow. Well, they desperately needed that, North Melbourne. They have been under the pump through the opening 13 minutes of this game. She has been a revelation, Laheen Bow, this season. Talk about Kate Hoare kicking a 23rd goal. Well, Bogue's done that herself.
This is the first set of bounce clearance that North Melbourne have won for the game, and that is the source of this score. You just see if you give them the front of the stoppage, Garner and Sheeran, a little bit of a fumble, but if they get it into genuine one-on-ones, this is really smart from Vicky Wall, knowing that Bogue is out the back. That is very good footy IQ. Just getting it out the back, and Bogue knowing if she picks it up, she's probably under a fair bit of heat, so just soccers it off the ground. Probably 4 disposals in that whole chain, and North Melbourne kick their first.
Back in the middle. Mackin gets it away. Simon with the check side. Harris with the dive. Wotherspoon is there. Birch to clean it up. Gets the hand pass away. Up towards the wing. Lachlan has it slip through her fingers. Eva looks inboard. Paxman wants to move the footy. They're away here, throw a hair. Over the top to Campbell. Needs to gather. Just a little chipping ball. Oh, Wotherspoon crunched into by Ferguson. Umpire said it was okay. D's fans not happy. Craven out towards Bogue. That's a good contested grab.
Super mark. Moves it on quickly as they stream forward. Wall. Having dished off one to Bogue earlier. Now has it from Bogue. Sets it towards the top of the square. King in good place. Couldn't mark. McNamara at the full. Eddie gets it. Closed down. Just gets beat to ball. Smith paddling towards the line. Feeds it back. Wants Garner. Fitzsimons for company. Sheeran on the left. End over end and through. 2 in a row. North's responded. Welcome back, Ailish Sheeran. What a get she is for North Melbourne this season. A team that was already stacked full of talent. And able to lure her across from Richmond. In the side after a period out with a hamstring injury. And on the board, margin back to 7. High quality game.
This is a brilliant start to a prelim from both of these teams. We got some good quality football on display. But Ailish Sheeran, she came across from the Tigers. She wanted to play finals footy. Well, she has started this one on absolute fire. 5 disposals, 2 score involvements, 3 tackles. Both of the clearances that they've had in this quarter for North, and now a goal to go with it. You can't start that any better for a prelim from Ailish Sheeran.
So the D's kicked the first 3. North have kicked the last 2. 4 over the footy. But now umpire giving it every chance. Pierce, little tap out towards Paxman. Loses a handle on the footy. Garner just throws it on the boot. Wall ships it off to O'Loughlin, who looks inside for Eddie, who's wrapped up immediately by Goldrick. Ball comes free. O'Loughlin gets boot to it. Goes towards Bogue. Could she have 2 in a minute? Laheen Bogue, yes! She was on the North list last year, couldn't break in for a game after coming across just before the season started from Ireland. And has played every game this year and now has 24 goals next to her name. What an excitement machine she's been to for the North. Someone you buy a ticket to come and see. And the margin now just 1 point.
I've just made comment on how good Ailish Sheeran's start to this final has been. Well, Laheen Bogue said, what about me? I've been pretty good as well. 2 goals now. Both of these sides just bringing out the best in each other, aren't they? This first term has been something to behold. And North just go bang, 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 and they are back within a point.
Pierce out the back, but Garner waits for it. Spirals it to centre half forward. Bounce favours Goldrick. Clears for the D's. Back into the middle, but Garner is there. She floors Marnie in the process. Back towards O'Loughlin. Gets to the back of the contest. Goldrick toe pokes. Bogue out after it. Goldrick nudges her out of the way. Clears the path for Paxman. Off to Goldrick. Ball hits the deck. Needs to be cleaned up. Back in it comes, but Pierce marks the Craven kick.
Just overused the handball there, Melbourne. They were lucky to get away with that. Some good defensive work from Gillard. But if you have that many clean disposals, need to clear the area. If you're going to handball around like that, both of these teams, the pressure is so hot from both of them.
And Paxie's used all her experience and guile there to get herself a 50-metre penalty.
Probably didn't need to grab at her, Alice O'Loughlin. I know she's gone down easy. Yes, 100% will say that. But if you don't grab at the player and then they won't go down, you won't give away a 50-metre.
Goes by hand to Goldrick. Sends it inside. 50. No Mark Payne. So they're under pressure here. Ferguson. Deep inside defensive. 50. Sheila spilt the hand pass. They crash in over the top. Birch under pressure. Waterspoon with the smother. And then Marnie tackled over the line. Bit of feeling in this too. Looks really worthy of the sides that finished 1 and 2 on the ladder this season. And putting on a show for us early.
This is the best first quarter we've seen all season. These two teams just going at it, shot for shot. Each time the team has it on their terms, you feel like they can score.
So Rennie up against Pearce in ruck. Pearce wanted to take it out of the ruck. Hanks couldn't get it. Paxman could. Takes a hand on the way through. Zanke comes out. Kept it in front of her. Carney got a hand in. Flicked out. Ferguson away to O'Shea. Her clearing ball. Not marked. Eddie dropped it. Hanks goes after it. Smith knocks it out. Wotherspoon goes to work. Almost threw that out the back. McNamara towards Harris. Was that a push out? Umpire lets them play. Picked up by Carney. It's an intelligent kick under pressure. Finds Smith in the back pocket.
Smith thought about the short option. Goes there now to Sheila. Where to now continues the sideways movement. Wouldn't mind the tape measure on that one as Birch took it. Contested against Zanka. And a 50-metre after Zanka gave Birch a bit of attention. She won't like that, Libby Birch. Doesn't like taking a backward step. There's plenty of feeling in this one. You see here the replay. So the downfield free kick. O'Shea has it on the outer side.
Ooh, bit of a have a cry there from Eden Zanka. There's no love lost though between the D's and Libby Birch, that's for sure.
So Hall to Hanks. Can they find a target inside 50? They can. It's Harris, who's really reminded us this season what kind of player she is. She's had so many years interrupted by injury. Didn't even get a full game done last year before she had to go for shoulder surgery. And now fit and healthy and firing. She's had a good year.
And this will be her first touch for the day, but she has had a hand in a lot of moments. Brought the ball to ground when she's been competing. She's looked very, very dynamic in this first quarter, has Taylor Harris.
So you can see the angle there for Taylor Harris. Just to stretch the margin out again. Looks lovely off the boot. Pumps the fist. The D's have got their fourth.
This is a seriously good quality game of football.
Absolutely.
It's been super.
Well, we thought the game between Melbourne and Adelaide last week was probably the game of the year so far. This one might take the mantle by the end of the day.
Well, this was from when they first clashed against each other. Libby Birch down at Casey last year. Big hit from Kate Hoare, and that's what we're referencing when we say there's no love lost between these two teams. And then we see Zanka a little bit late on the play, had a little bit to say after it as well. And then they go forward. Taylor Harris, though, that was a phenomenal finish in front of goal. That was a tight angle and just sunk the boot in. That was never going to miss the minute it came off the boot.
5 goals in an entire game is the most any team's kicked against North Melbourne this season. And already the D's have 4 in the opening term. Chaplin, a welcome addition into that Melbourne back line this week. Harris. Oh, yes! Taylor's feeling it. What a mark. A finish and then a fly. Harris is engaged. She goes towards Wotherspoon. Hits the net. Wotherspoon gets it tackled. Gave it off. Marnie's kick at turnover. And Carney just calmly send it the way of Shearlaw. Out wide they go. Paxman and Craven. Paxy's had a lively start to the contest. Taylor back to Paxman. Maybe a second or two for one more. Forward 50 entry, no. North Melbourne has been the dominant force this season, but the D's have shown they will push them all the way with a grand final berth up for grabs. What a start from Melbourne. They lead by 7 points at quarter time in a high quality game of football. 4-2 plays 3-1.
All right, folks, there we go. Welcome in at quarter time here at Icon Park. Preliminary final one. And it's Melbourne getting the job done, 4-2-26, leading North Melbourne 3-1-19, 7-point margin here at quarter time. And I tell you what, Melbourne came out running in the opening minutes of this game, kicking the first 3 goals. North Melbourne responding well with the next 3. Melbourne with the last goal in that quarter. Unexpected by a lot, but I tell you what, Melbourne have been playing fantastic football. They were great last week to get through to the prelim, as were North. Even though North Melbourne coming into this game at around about $1.05, Melbourne about $9 to win this game. Tell you what, I wouldn't mind having something on Melbourne in this game because they look a classy outfit. Of course, North Melbourne are favourites to win the flag. They've got the job ahead today. They've got to get over Melbourne first. Hey, Chris and Joseph, how you doing? Chris, I told you who kicked the first score of the game. That was Paxy Paxman of Melbourne. Was the goal. That was the first score of the game here. Tell you what, we could have a high-scoring game here. 7 goals already kicked in the opening term. 2 quality sides. There we go. Let's have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers. And, of course, Blathan Bogue from North Melbourne leads the way out there today with 2 goals, the only multiple. Sheeran has got a single also for North Melbourne. Of course, for Melbourne, Witherspoon's got one. Paxy Packman, she kicked the first one. Kate Hoare and Taylor Harris, the other single goal scorers there for Melbourne. And on the ground so far. I tell you what, it's a beautiful day at Icon Park. It's about 21 degrees. A few clouds, but a bit of sun shining as well. So it's a great day for football. There we go. Paxy Paxman leads the way on the disposal count out there today. She's the ball magnet with 9 disposals. She's had 5 kicks, 4 handballs, 4 marks, a clearance and a goal, the opening goal, as I said. Doing well. McNamara and Kate Hoare both on 6 there, next best for Melbourne. And of course for North Melbourne, Jasmine Garner, as always, tops the table there with 8 disposals. For the Kangaroos, 4 kicks, 4 handballs, couple clearances she's had also. Let's just roll down this and you can find your Ash Riddell. There we go. I want to keep an eye on her today. She's just had the 4 disposals, 1 kick, 3 handballs, a couple clearances there for Ash. Libby Birch on the 4 also. Riley Wotherspoon there for Melbourne, 3 touches, 2 kicks. As I said, 1 straight goal for her today. Tyler Hanks out there, just for 3 disposals, 3 kicks, couple of tackles there for Melbourne. There we go. Tyler Harris. 2 disposals, 2 kicks with the 1 goal. She's had a couple of marks also. Just have a quick look at the team stats there. And it's North Melbourne on top in the team stats. Disposal count there, +8 overall. So she's a pretty tight game, just getting the handball done a little bit more. Melbourne really seem to be transitioning the ball really well through the corridor, looking dangerous going inside. Both teams, 9 inside forward 50s. So it's reasonably high scoring. 4 scoring shots for North Melbourne's 9, but Melbourne 6 scoring shots for their inside 9. So looking dangerous every time they're going in. Not many free kicks given so far in the opening term. It's just 3-2. 5 free kicks in total in the opening term. Melbourne a +1 there. They're leading the hit-out count as well, Melbourne. 7-2. They're +5 there. Centre clearance is pretty even, 3-4. Contested the same, 30-29, pretty tight. Just uncontested North Melbourne, just taking a little bit of control of that game when they kicked those 3 straight goals in the uncontested there, 43-33. Both teams marking really, really well. high-scoring, high-marking game so far. 16-21. Melbourne are the only team that's had a mark inside 50. They've had 3 of them. As I said, they're looking really, really dangerous. Looking at the tackle count, well, it's a free-flowing game here, so not many tackles happening at the moment. 10-7, North Melbourne +3. 2 tackles for both teams inside their forward 50. All right, let's head back down to the ground, and they'll take us into the second quarter of this first preliminary final, whereas Melbourne leading by 7 points.
Always done, and I think Taylor's kick has been one of the most underrated in the league. She can absolutely sink goals. Of course, there's the iconic image of her doing so, but this is one set shot for the ages. A lovely kick to reassert their dominance in the quarter. Really interesting matchup, but the ebbs and flows of the game, the antagonisation that you were speaking about, so exciting. And I've changed from just being a calm pre-gamer to barracking pretty hard and just getting excited about the theatre of the sport.
And Lauren, I mean, there is some real news coming out of this first quarter, and that is there could be a left shoulder complaint for the Melbourne captain, Kate Hoare.
Very close eye on this one, Kel. We can see her with the club medicos at the quarter-time break, very clearly getting a shoulder issue tested on that right side. She had her Guernsey off as well, was getting some attention. You can see her wincing in pain there, so clearly an issue, something almost catching there as she went for that rotation. So not too sure whether it was from a direct hit potentially in that first quarter, because we know she takes a few in the contest, but certainly one to watch in this second term.
She's going to start in the midfield, and look at that alongside Jazz Garner, 2 of the best captains in the game, and that is one of the best matchups you will see. Melbourne kicked the first 2 in the opening 3 minutes. They've set the tone. Here we go, turning into the second.
So Riddell gets things going North's way out of the middle of the ground. Bogue is there, tapped it out. It's just Riddell's 4th disposal. As Lampard is held up on the back flank. A phenomenal year. Ash Riddell just been racking up possession after possession. Last week a little quieter, 26 possessions. 5 times she's had over 40 this season. 4 into the middle of the ground. Harris has got it again. She's posing a problem for Darren Crocker's North Melbourne at the moment. Kick goes inside the 50. Out comes Shannon, couldn't hold the mark. She get one in the back. Paxman wore one. Emerging Sheeran. Goes out towards the wing. Chaplin there takes the mark for the D's.
Well, how vital is Chaplin in this defensive structure for Melbourne? But such the headache that Taylor Harris has caused. Kate Shearlaw is now taking that matchup. So the last part of that quarter, Kate Shearlaw went back. Wasn't sure if she was being used as a +1. Nope, she's the matchup for Taylor Harris.
Chaplin chips it up. He stands underneath, couldn't take the grab. Fitzsimon at ground level. Harris. Riddell and Carney there too. Spills out to the side towards Hoare. We had that right shoulder strapped at quarter time. One to keep an eye on. It's just a little sore. Hurried kick inside 50. Birch gets away with a hand pass to Sheeran, who looks out wide, but Paul, the captain there against Gat in a one-on-one. Taxi ran over the footy. Wall picked it up and just chucked it on the boot to kick it in North's direction. Gillard with the early body work. Lampard to Goldrick. And the D's can look to reload again, although that hand pass to Heath was shaky. And Garner's flipped it over the top. Randall just needs the bounce. Turns the corner, loses her footing. Gets it back towards Eddie. Can she finish off? Not quite. It's wide. And that's the first score in the second term.
That's what I was talking about in that first term, just the overuse of the handball, and North, they welcome it because they sort of just sit off, and then as soon as that handball's there, they'll close the pressure down, and if you're going to overuse the footy in this game, you're going to pay.
Smith read the play there well, got across the front of the intended target with Simon. And that is going to be a lasso free kick. Everyone in North Melbourne's attacking half. Smith plays on, kicks it into the hole, beautiful service onto the chest of the leading Bogue. Now Bogue wants to have a look, thumps it hard, long, straight towards goal. It's got the carry, not quite. Critical work from Pearce. The big ruck was exactly where she needed to be. and denied the North Melbourne goal. Margin back to 5.
She did a great job, but it was a heart in your mouth kind of moment because she tapped it back in. If a North Melbourne tall was on the line there, they could have just gobbled that up and kicked it over their shoulder. So brilliant play from her to get the hands on the line, but needed to rush that one behind.
Taylor up towards Fitzsimon, who's got a couple to beat. Is it down in front? Bruton to Garner. Wonderful vision to find Eddie. This might be just beyond her range, Eddie, so she chips it over the top. Ball was awake to it, but couldn't close it down. And Riddell's taken the mark directly in front.
Jazz Garner starting to come into her own in this game. 10 disposals, 3 clearances, a couple of inside 50s and 3 score involvements. That kick inside 50, as you said, Joe, was perfect.
So Riddell, she's had some year. 5 goals next to her name. It's got the journey, it does. North Melbourne strike. So Riddell's kicked the first goal of this second term. And they've hit the lead here, North. After the D's kicked the first 3 goals of the game, North hit back with 3 of their own. And what a piece to see the margin just sit at 1. Both sides have settled into the contest.
Just getting more time in forward half at the moment in this second term, but that's the kick we're talking about. That one there from Jazz Garner and then this one from Bella Eddy. Really good at executing their skills no matter what pressure they're under. And then Ash Riddell, that's right on her range. To go back and kick that in a big moment, that's a big game player right there.
North Melbourne in front for the first time in this contest. Pearce wins it down. Hanks goes after it. Been quiet so far. Getting a hand pass through was Gatt, but straight to Pearce, to Paxman, to Mackin. Mackin's kick, the turnover should have been. Shannon dropped the mark, has support, flips it out the back towards Birch, who's still got a mop up. Off to O'Shea, her kick, perfectly weighted. Smith.
So 1-on-1s ahead of her. That's the target she wants in Rennie. Build it from the back half. Carney gets clattered into it. And that'll be 50. Perhaps not initially, but when Fitzsimon sat over the top. And no one stands the mark. Bannon tries to come across. So Carney goes long, and forwards weren't awake to it though. Goldrick just threw that one out, the tackle from Bogue. Garner under pressure. Little toe poke on it. As does O'Loughlin. The kick back the other way. Lands in the lap of Fitzsimon. Looked to be taking her time, but then goes out wide because she's got Zanka. Not a lot in front of Zanka. You can see just the one option in Marnie. So she brings it inboard to O'Hare. There's an option Ebert. You can see they're just inside the boundary line. Didn't complete the mark. So forced to hurry it. Into Gillard she goes. It's a little underside in the end. Goes long, gets to the back. Zanka, Campbell had it initially. Hare flips it over. Craven gets in the way. Hanks on the loose footy. Marnie, they're away here. Zanka puts the afterburners on. Only just gets away from O'Shea. Carney reads it well defensively inside 50. Ferguson under pressure. Goes back towards Carney, who looks down the wing towards King. He has it slapped away.
Matt Edwards, what are you seeing?
Well, it's warm conditions down here if you are playing footy. It's nice if you're a spectator. It's about 24 degrees here at Icon Park, and already on the bench we're seeing ice vests and the club's taking precautions with proper hydration. What just appeared on the Melbourne bench that piqued my interest was some super dupers. So some icy poles have come down for the Melbourne players, but yeah, warm conditions, so they're going to keep the hydration up today.
I reckon Matt will be enjoying one of those very shortly.
Don't you know it?
Paxman knocked it on. Back down by Heath, who gets it back to Hanks. And then just a little wide with the kick intended for Mackin, so Craven's going to have it. Mackin pretending she didn't know who should be given the ball.
Do you think they learned that in Gaelic too? She seemed pretty comfortable at it, didn't she?
A natural time waster. Riddell goes back.
Really starting to get this kick mark game going, aren't they, North, in this second term?
Birch, they've set it up beautifully here. O'Shea can run the outer wing. Fitzsimon goes with her though. Bouncing ball out in front of Ferguson. A flutter inside 50. The target was Randall. Superb Mark Campbell getting in the road and denying the key forward for North.
Don't discount the Megan Fitzsimon pressure just on Erica O'Shea there. She wanted that second handball in the chain, which she so often gets back, but Fitzsimon did the job beautifully.
They won the ball back here, North, and Craven went to Bruton, let it burst through the hands. Back on it at ground level though. Looks up towards goal square. Under pressure, Taylor sits over the top of Bogue. Did well in the end. Hall somehow got a hand pass away. Chaplin sends it over the boundary line. Always one to keep an eye on. She looked a little sore when she took that tackle then.
Sometimes with the shoulder, she definitely had it looked at quarter time, but sometimes they strap it up so tight that it actually looks worse than it is because you can't get that full mobility out of it, but definitely one that we'll keep an eye on. But it does often look awkward with how tight they do strap it up to keep everything sort of protected as much as they can.
Bannon skips away, kicks towards Harris, always a good outlet. Used the body well but couldn't hold the mark. Craven, a little push from Harris, that was effective, good use. Marnie wants to feed it. Mackin had to wait. A spiral hand pass to Wotherspoon. Melbourne on the break again. Zanker's the target at half forward in a wrestle. Crowd thought there was some holding on. That's a good tackle, McNamara. She nailed O'Shea. Fitzsimon, Zanker hard on the boundary, pulls the trigger, goes for home. And the mark is taken on the last line by Gatz. Good play from Melbourne. They've been suffocated to an extent in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Just finding a way. That then was Taylor Harris 2 and 3 efforts on this boundary side wing to just keep that ball in and then just finding a way. At the moment though, this second term, it does look more like a North Melbourne controlled game, but Melbourne are hanging in there.
Craven on the wing finds Randall. He gets a little bit of extra attention from Gillard. Just one goal in this term so far, and now the 50 comes. With the trailing players with a protected area. And so Randall will be put within range.
That's a costly 50 metre. When you've kept a player like Talia Randall to one disposal for the game, she's had to come up so high to get her hands on the footy. That is just a real release to then be able to allow her to have a set shot on goal.
So the kick will be almost from directly in front. So she's kicked a goal in 12 consecutive games. Talia Randall slams it on the boot. Started left and stayed left. And a bit of a let-off there for the D's. We had 7 goals in the opening term and just one this term in North's favour.
Both teams have given away 2 50s each in the first half of football, so a bit of ill-discipline creeping into both sides there.
North's kicked 1 goal 4 to nothing in this quarter. Zanker up over the top. Free kick spotted, holding on. And it is a Melbourne free kick. Sheila thought she was going to get it. Umpire having none of it. Bannon finds Hanks. Away to Goldrick. Back infield she looks. Mackin did well. 4 in space. Not a great hand pass. Marnie's got to try and tidy things up. Carney was committed but might be pinged. Gone. Certainly had an influence on the contest, Carney. Marnie wants to get on with it. Hanks goes inside the 50. Birch there when perhaps Ferguson would have taken the mark. Wotherspoon goes in. Ferguson under pressure. Taken down by Fitzsimon. Flicked out by Riddell. Flicked forward by Garner. Bruton turns it over. Gillard.
Gillard looks inboard. As the D's look to reload again. Chaplin goes sideways to Taylor, who had the option wider of O'Hare. Might come back towards Chaplin. Reluctant to just bang it along the D's. We'll find the best option. Another 50-metre penalty. So this will put Kate Hall within range. Riddell and Eddie asked the question. I'm not sure of the reason for that one either.
It's against Bella Eddie what we're getting, so it had to be protected area, but wow. In a prelim final, if someone's in the protected area, they're going to want to have made an impact for me to be able to give away a 50-metre, and those two that we've seen are pretty soft 50s.
Well, Randall couldn't make the D's pay at the other end. And the captain, Kate Hoare, put her side back in front. Already has one for the game, now has two. And the D's retake the lead. That's the fifth 50-metre penalty in the game. And that one was particularly costly as the D's started their thrust forward, but it was just a gimme in the end to put Kate Hoare directly in front. They've got the lead back. Just under 4 minutes to play in the half.
So it's Bella Eddie there that's given away the 50 because she's within that 5-metre radius and going behind the player on the mark. What impact does that have on the game? I know, don't get me wrong, the umpire has adjudicated that correctly. That is a 50-metre to the letter of the law, but what impact is that having on any player out there from making a decision? I hate that rule. And for that to be 50 to lead to a goal in a prelim final is ridiculous.
Very costly one for North Melbourne. Adele held up by Hanks. Tripodi clears it. O'Hare. McNamara. Space closed down, goes again. Dragged off it. Garner looking for Craven. And then better users. Kicks inside the 50 over O'Loughlin's head. Goldrick comes to meet her, almost front on contact there. Umpire pays it. Head down over the ball. Goldrick coming the other way. Alice O'Loughlin, the free kick for the Kangas. 10 goals, 5 for the season. To kick it from about 40 metres. Finishing has largely been very good in this game. Can O'Loughlin continue the trend and put North Melbourne back in front? Strikes it on the right boot all the way towards the line. Harris. Oh, she's really feeling it today, Taylor Harris. It's not just the marks and goals, is it? It's, as you mentioned earlier, those efforts, knocks, taps.
She's up for the
flying
fight.
impacts.
Yeah, bringing the ball to ground, just taking a body. She's playing like the Taylor Harris of old, which was a woman possessed, and that's what we're seeing today. She's only got the one goal next to her name on the scoreboard. We can give her 5 more points, though, for that touch behind.
So the kick didn't go far enough. Chaplin was under pressure. See to Mack into Goldrick. Mackin can't win it back. Disrupts Bruton enough, though, to give time for the D's cavalry to arrive. The Roos are up to the task, though, although Patsy books a smother in on Riddell's kick. Garner up and under inside 50. McNamara is there to take the mark. Garner leads all comers on the ground with 14 disposals. McNamara runs her measure. The defensive line. O'Shea's read that well. Chucks it over the top and finds Smith. You can see the leads come. Decides to go across the middle. O'Shea goes to Sheila, has to use all her size to grab it. As Riddell short, chooses against it, decides to go long, wants them to fly. He's got hands to it in front, Bruton just shuffles it to Eddie. Ball still trying to burst through a few of them. And the umpire will come and ball it up.
Just defended that so well then. Melbourne forced them to try and find something that had to end up going long. The defences of both teams, though, on true display in this game.
Pierce down towards Hanks. Garner threatening. Didn't get much purchase. Taylor out to Paxman. Look like hand pass. Paxy's a cool customer doing that in that situation. Hanks is clearing kick. It'll be a free kick here to North Melbourne. 35 seconds on the clock until the half-time break.
Paxy's having her best game of the season, Al. So far, this first half has been Paxy winding back the clock.
Riddell, too far out. Sends it towards the hot spot. The pack forms. Harris at the front. Through her hands it goes. Eddie goes to work. Off to Craven. Courts. Tackled by Hoare. 20 seconds here for Melbourne's defence to hold up if they are to hold the lead at half-time. Up it goes quickly. Mack and toe pokes. Riddell out towards Carney, who's wandered up. Around the body she goes. A high up and under. They set themselves. O'Loughlin has it belted away by Ebert. Boundary throw in as the seconds tick down. It's been a very good game of football. The match we hope for. Melbourne with 4 goals to 3 in the opening term, a goal apiece in the second term. And it spins. Back towards the boundary. Garner. Closed down by Hanks.
So this preliminary final is delicately poised at halftime with a spot in the grand final up for grabs. Melbourne by 7 points at quarter time. And the underdogs leading by 2 points at the main break. We'll be back right after this to analyse a thrilling opening half of AFLW.
Oh, what a game we've got on here, folks. I tell you what, 2 points are different. Melbourne, well, they're hanging on, aren't they? 2-point leaders here at half-time here at Icon Park in the first prelim final. It's 5-2-32, the Melbourne Demons, North Melbourne Kangaroos. A little bit wobbly in their kick and 4-6-30, 10 scoring shots to 7, but Melbourne still hanging on. Melbourne putting on 1 straight goal in that second term. North Melbourne, 1 goal 5. Is that going to come back to bite them? I tell you what, those 5 behinds from 1 was a couple of rush there. Hey, Woofy, how you doing? Looks like it's a fix for Melbourne. Kangaroos throwing the game. Tell you what, I think these both of these sides are pretty evenly matched at the moment. They are playing absolutely fantastic football. This is some of the best AFLW football I've seen anywhere at the moment. I tell you what, they are a classy outfit, both of these teams at the moment. And of course, don't forget, we've still got the second prelim to come later on, 7:30 Melbourne time. Of course, that's the Brisbane Lions taking on Carlton. So we've got a couple of good games. But I tell you what, this is certainly a ring-a-ding-ding game here today. North Melbourne taking on Melbourne at Icon Park. Tell you what, who's going to win? I don't know. Even the poll, we've got the poll there. 50% saying North Melbourne, 50% saying Melbourne Demons in the live chat. Don't forget, put your vote in. Who you think's going to win, and we'll see whether the live chat gets it right at the end of the game. But there we go, 2 points separating them. The commentators will be back in just a moment to give us a little bit of a wrap-up of course, this opening half. Let's just have a quick look at the goal scorers. We had a couple of goals in that second term. Of course, we've got 2 multiples out there. Kate Hoare from Melbourne, she's got 2 leading the way for them. Wotherspoon's got 1, and Paxi Paxman and Taylor Harris. They've all got singles there for Melbourne. Of course, for the North Melbourne Kangaroos, Blathy and Bogue, she's got 2 out there. She's the only multiple for North Melbourne. Elise Sheeran and Ash Riddell, both singles. Just looking at the disposal getters out there. A few of the girls starting to rack up the possessions out there. And, of course, leading the way is Jasmine Garner there for North Melbourne. Yo, Addie G. Will North miss the grand final? They might. They went into this game in about $1.05, I think, $9 Melbourne. I tell you what, this would have been a game worth putting something on Melbourne because they were absolutely fantastic last week and their form's continuing into this game. I tell you what, North Melbourne are going to have to be at their brilliant best to get over North Melbourne in this game here today. It's going to be a really, really interesting, tight game. Jasmine Garner, 15 out there for North so far. She's had 7 kicks, 8 handballs, 3 clearances, doing well, a couple of tackles. Paxi Paxman for Melbourne tops the table there for Melbourne on 13, 5 and 8, 5 marks a tackle, and that goal. Ash Riddell starting to rack up the possessions. She needs to get on her bike. I think they were saying 5 times this season she's had over 40 plus possessions in a game, so they're keeping her reasonably quiet up until half time, just with the 12 touches, 5 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 marks a tackle, 3 clearances, and a goal. So I tell you what, Addy, they're doing a reasonably good job on Ash Riddell out there today. Is the Melbourne defenders. There we go. Chaplin on 11 there for Melbourne. Erica O'Shea on 10. Emma Kearney on 10 there for North Melbourne. Of course, the other 2 is Horan Goldrick on 10 there for Melbourne. There your players in double-figure odds so far in the possession getters out there today. Libby Birch just on the 7. I'll just quickly roll through these and we'll get back down to the commentators. They'll give us a bit of analysis on the opening half. Let me just zoom that back up. Get that back over there. All right, let's head back down to the commentators. See what on their thoughts.
For Melbourne, and Lauren Wood said just before the opening bounce, it's all about Paxi Paxman and bang within the first minute. Recently retired Geelong captain Meg McDonald alongside us for this one as well. And at halftime, there's just 2 points in this clash. I'm guessing North Melbourne hasn't trailed at halftime much this season at all. So unfamiliar territory for this team that has just continued to notch record after record so far this season.
That's right. I've been madly scouring the stats, Kellen. Your team, Geelong, earlier in the season, and Brisbane, it looks like we're the only teams that were able to get the jump on North Melbourne, particularly early in a game. So whether it is the week off last week, it's taking them a little while to ease into it. But we saw from Darren Crocker a few weeks ago, when he wants to go, he can go. So I would imagine there's a fair bit of feedback being delivered in those change rooms right now. And I will claim Paxi Paxman, Kel, because God knows we get them wrong often enough, but fantastic to see her leading from the front.
Meg, where's this game been won by Melbourne so far by the narrowest of margins?
I think what's been really interesting is the tempo between the two teams. We spoke so much off the top about the uncontested possession of North and how they've dominated disposals across the comp, setting records all over the place. They are plus 11 in uncontested possessions, but I'm really interested in the marks differential. Melbourne are leading marks by 5 and they've had twice as many contested. So I think it's their ability to take the ball off North, sort of give them a sense of their own medicine to a degree that's allowed them to stay in and ahead of the ledger in terms of the ultimate scoreboard. I think it's led to, we've seen a lot of 50-metre penalties. You have to have the ball in your control. The Kate Hoare goal in the second quarter, controlling it through the corridor, and then they make the mistake, Bell Eddy behind the mark, and it results in a goal from that control.
You talk about experience matters in these finals. We saw Paxi Paxman with that goal, and Taylor Harris, playing her 13th final, has been absolutely dominant in that first half.
Yeah, this is where that experience comes to the fore, doesn't it? She is at her 3rd club, but what that has meant is that there's 3 clubs worth of finals as well. Incredibly successful teams are over that journey too. Her overhead marking, we know, is an incredible asset. That famous kick we can see right there has been out in force as well, and just unflappable in these situations, isn't she? Because she has been there and done it before 12 times before today. It really counts for plenty.
I think you're right, Loz. I think that unflappability is something that's come into a game as she's matured and as she's in this stage of her career. Her influence over a game can be profound because of her strengths. We see there that she's spoiled over the ball over the line on the opposite end of the ground, so she's having influence around the ground. I've always loved her field kicking. The set shot's been, a mark of her game since, that infamous photo and beforehand. So I think her influence on this one is profound at the moment, and they're struggling to defend her.
And as a key back, 2-time All-Australian, you jumped out of your seat when you saw a spoil on the line. I thought I've never seen anyone get excited, but you said that's exactly what she do. And unbelievable that Kate Sheila has got the match up on her. Kate Sheila, a notable goal kicker, a key forward, but Tessa Boyd comes out to allow Ailey Sheeran come in, and Sheila has gone back, and it has worked in Melbourne's favour so far.
So far it has. I think North's defence is so good at knowing when to fly and when not to fly and when to hold depth and defend the goals. But I think when you're playing on a player like Taylor, as Sheila is here, you have to go with her on those aerial contests if she's won out, because she's more than likely going to mark the ball. So I think she has to sort of defend her a little bit tighter in those aerial contests when the numbers are low.
Okay, there's one of the huge matchups that we have seen so far. After this huge contest, we then go tonight to Brisbane. Can't wait for this one. How good are those McKay sisters? What sort of silly will Sophie up her sleeve today against the dominant Brisbane Lions? They met in round 3 up in Brisbane, and it was those two, the sisters, that led the way for the Blues.
Join us in supporting Share the Dignity.
24 degrees in Melbourne, perfect weather at Icon Park for a perfect preliminary final. This North Melbourne team in unfamiliar territory. It's the first time since last year's quarter-final against the Adelaide Crows that they have trailed at half-time. What will Darren Crocker have in store and these Roos in the second half, and can the D's hold on? Let's hear from their coach, Mick Stinier, who's with Jess Webster.
Mick, this is a cracking game of football. What were you pleased with in the first half, and what were you not so pleased with?
Yeah, I think obviously a really good start to the game. I thought we competed really well, but then it's just how we were using the ball. A lot more composed, been able to play together on offence, and then we defended really well. It was probably that 5 or 6 minutes in that first quarter where we just let them back in the game. And you can see if we don't use the ball well, they really make you pay. I'm pleased with where we're at. It's at half time, but we've got to keep getting after it in the contest, and then we've got to keep using the ball well and then defend in behind it. So a bit to do, but you've got to do that against the best team.
Have these players got 2 more quarters of fight left in them?
Yeah, they're loving playing footy at the moment. I think the more footy they've played, the better. So, no, they're up and about. Obviously, it's going to take our best, but, we came here to win today, so we'll give it a crack.
Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thanks, Jess.
D's by 2 points. Second half. Here we go.
Riddell from the middle. Oh, Bruton, lovely body work against Goldrick. What about going quickly to Wall? Changed her mind. Look out the back to the lead of Randall. The perfect opening 20 seconds to the Roos. Well, Darren Crocker would have liked his sign to start this second half.
It's just how you draw it up out of the centre bounce, isn't it, Joe? Kick, mark, really good mark from Bruton, and then your key forward out of the square, putting the ball to the advantage. Randall, who's had a very good match-up with Talia Gillard, but one-on-one is a different story.
So missed one earlier after getting a 50-metre penalty. This one a tighter angle. Talia Randall again sprays it to the left. Harris flew, couldn't take the mark, and is then crunched into the deck by Wall. Too high, said the umpire. And Harris will have the free kick.
Harris gone into the ruck at that first set of bounce. We saw a similar situation roll out last week where they threw her into the ruck for the second half against the Crows.
Kicks the ball so sweetly and powerfully. Zanka pulls it in. Great contested mark. Zanka from halfback. McNamara. You could scarcely ask for a more committed team player than Eliza McNamara. That kick is not without risk. If the target gets to the back, Eddie. Taylor cracks in though. Harris nailed Tripodi and gets hold of Eddie. Effort after effort from Harris. McNamara to Wotherspoon. Kick up towards the half-forward flank. Shannon's well placed, but Zanka gets there first. He's taken when not in possession. Free kick Melbourne. So Zanka had the ball on the half-back flank and now has the ball on the half-forward flank, illustrating the work rate. How's the kick? Good. Ball comes out. It could not be in more perfect hands.
Beautiful kick from Zanka though. That sits any higher in the air. There's 3 Roos that get across and either take Kate Hoare's body or get a hand on the footy. That was well put out to her advantage.
3 straight last week in a semi-final. She's kicked 2 today to push the margin out to 8. Hoare's kick is narrow all the way.
So Carney, the veteran, build the Roos up from defensive 50. Brings a measurement, looks out wide. Bogue on hands and knees, gets it held to it.
Next 5 or 10 minutes of this game are massive. You can just feel it. The crowd holding their breath, waiting for who's going to throw the first punch in this third term, because this is huge.
Riddell, who hasn't had her usual numbers yet. Hoare flips it inside 50. Shearlaw just dumps it out towards space. Hurriedly back inside 50. Garner will stand there and take the mark. Disposal 16 for Garner to Birch. Looks wider towards Carney. They'll have a chance to reel it in just inside the boundary line. Flips it over the top to Smith. Thought about going backwards. Carney waves the forwards on to say, give her a lead, give her something to kick to. Oh, fabulous work by Taylor.
Yeah, so Carney very vocal there. Smith doesn't have the longest kick. They were all setting up for long down the line, but way too far away. So she was trying to call players across. Rennie got there late, but couldn't quite affect it.
Taylor kicks it back that way. Big pack flies. Batting in front does well with the second effort too. Paul to Heath, who tries to flip it over the top. Wotherspoon to Campbell. Can't barge through. Sheeran has a go at it. Paxman near the boundary line. Clean with it was Smith. Back to O'Shea under pressure from Heath. Brilliant tackle. Not for the first time in her career too, Shelley Heath. Just sticks those tackles. There's not much of it, but she holds on for dear life. Can see what's laid out in front. And that forward 50 for the D's. Harris flies from the side and then charges hard at the loose footy. Sheeran over the top. Hanks under pressure, takes the ball and the tackle.
This is tense stuff. Hard-fought contest. A preliminary final. Living up to the billing. Marnie crashes in. Mackin gets it forward. Harris in the pack. Birch goes over. Harris gets it. Great tackle. She's caught by Ferguson. No free kick. Now Shannon's under the pump. McNamara's there. Bannon as well. Bannon's like a rolling maul. She goes over for a rush behind. This has got everything.
And the Roos struggling to get this ball up over halfway. So 4 inside 50s to 1. They're just forcing them long. They're taking away those little chip marks. And again here, Kate Shearlaw having to kick the ball long.
Sheeran makes a good attempt at the mark. Tripodi flips it out towards Rennie. Back to Sheeran. Hanks disrupts things though. Finds the footy. Turns back inside. Not far enough. The mark to be paid to Rennie, so she has to dump it out wide. Not getting the best bounce was Lampard, and Bo got rid of her in the end. Kicks long. Down the line, Randall. And Goldrick's got 2 to beat Randall. Just goes off the deck. Goldrick wins the race to the footy. Can't get around Bo. Bruton. The umpire will bring it back. It was holding the ball. Goldrick was deemed holding the ball. That tackle from Bogue. You feel like the D's are holding up well, K-Mate, but that North in 4 or 5 minutes could still slam on a few.
Well, you even think there that was a long kick to a pack, but then all of a sudden they're inside their forward 50 with phenomenal forward half pressure once again.
Bogue goes long. Randall doesn't read it well, runs under it. And Gillard able to take the relieving mark.
Anytime it's been a slow play, though, Melbourne have been just well set up defensively. If they've had them for speed and been able to counteract really quickly, that's when they've looked the best attacking play for North. But Melbourne are using the ball to sort of stop them from doing that. They're being so careful with their ball use.
Gillard didn't strike it well. Chance for Gatt, tackled off to Bruton. Bruton away to Tripodi. She takes a look at the goals, but does not execute the kick at all well. And it's gone out of bounds on the full.
And that was right on cue, as I say. They're using the ball so well and being so careful with it. That just shows that if you miss a kick or you sort of take something that's not quite on, that's where North pounce, and they score goals so quickly from that source.
Gillard to Taylor in the pocket. North has hemmed Melbourne in again here, but Hanks might provide the outlet. Patiently worked. Playing with composure, Melbourne.
It's up towards Zanka, who does the body work early against Birch. Pushed her underneath.
Jazz Ferguson just sitting down the line.
Goes long towards Bannon. He's right out of it by O'Shea. O'Shea keeps her feet in the contest. Gives it over the top towards Bruton, who's got Tripodi there. Takes too long to gather it and they're under pressure. The D's win it back momentarily until Bruton swoops on it. Looks up towards Bogue. And Goldrick this time. Wide to McNamara. time, waiting for the right option. Umpire finally says, you've got to go now. So goes long to Wotherspoon. It's out the back past Shannon. Wotherspoon gives chase. Does well in the beats two of them. Gets it to Marnie, who looks inboard towards Hall. He's taken the mark and professionally held up by Ferguson because the Ds were away there. Looks inboard towards Mackin. Goes to goal, will be under pressure. Hurriedly boots the ball. Zanker will go. Birch punches it away. At ground level, Wotherspoon throws on the boot, which way will it bounce? The wrong side. I feel like every possession has such weight to it at the moment.
Sure does, Joe. We just saw for the period of time North just building that and keeping that in their front half, and then you have a 50-50 win on the far wing where Wotherspoon gets a handball out to Marnie, and then Melbourne are going inside and flipping the script and having a shot on goal.
King couldn't control it. Flipped out by Campbell. Spills to Bruton, fends away from McNamara. Good kick to O'Loughlin. Can North construct something from the defensive side of the City wing? That kick towards Sheeran. What commitments! That is finals commitments. Prelim finals commitments. Gillard one way, Sheeran the other, like a car crash. Chaplin. O'Hare. Well, if you needed any illustration of what this meant to the players, you saw it right there.
Absolutely. Chaplin, up to Wotherspoon. Simon will go against Carney. Wotherspoon puts the tackle in over the top. Carney's just holding on to it here. She's going to be pinned again.
Have a look at this moment. Finals footy, mainly grand finals it is when you talk about coming down to moments. Well, this is like a grand final out there. This is being paid with such ferocity. Huge win.
Harris long, Zanker makes the contest. Marnie underneath it all. Feigning to make an effort. The umpire says not good enough. You can't just punch at it anymore. You've got to really get rid of it.
Ferguson to Riddell. North Melbourne has not had a margin of any less than 30 points in victory this season, winning all games. 30 points against Essendon, the most slender margin that they have won by this year. Here we are with 5 minutes to go in a preliminary final. Taylor Harris has had a huge hand in it. And Melbourne leads the seemingly invincible Kangaroos by 5 points. Pearson ready. McNamara bursts onto it off to Hanks. They maraud forward. Heath. Harris. Hanks in tight. Brushed Craven. Could she finish? Hanks for goal, misses. And the margin is a goal.
So those handballs in and around the contest really disrupting North Melbourne's defence. So at that stoppage, they had a +1. Libby Birch was sitting as a +1. The handballs in and around the contest, though, they create chaos for the defenders that are deeper. So Birch had to come up. Then if you miss your player, like Hanks missed her one-on-one or got away from her one-on-one, she's running towards goal with no pressure.
Carney in game 93 comes out long towards Shearlaw. Here is Sheeran again. Wall. Puts it off towards Rennie, flips it over the top to Riddell, who's under pressure. Out towards Garner, he can't get purchase on the kick. Huxley back the other way. Zanker makes a good contest against 4 in the end. Wotherspoon stops and props, and that's wonderful vision inside. O'Hare thought about the hand pass, then puts it back inside, and Birch read it really well. Chopped it off and took the intercept mark.
Probably just had to go quickly. She had Kate Hall one-on-one with Ferguson. If that's just put out to space to her lead, you'd back Kate Hall one-on-one in the rich vein of form she's in.
Ferguson. Shearlaw couldn't quite complete the mark. Re-tackle. Sheeran crashes in. Still in disputes. Pearce has a go, knocks it out. Little toe poke from Sheeran, tries again, a third time, makes contact, but Goldrick in the road, dragged down by O'Loughlin and up and under, and out on the full. 3 minutes to go until three-quarter time. North fans nervous in a manner they haven't been for quite some time.
Fair bit going on behind the ball now. Paxi Paxman.
Nerves everywhere, even the greats are vulnerable, it seems. Knocked down by Heath. O'Hare is there. Garner goes to ground, got taken when not in possession or over the shoulder. Free kick to the North captain and five-time best and fairest, Jazzy Garner. Well done. Saray Taylor read the flight of the ball beautifully.
Back five from Melbourne have been very, very good here this afternoon, just owning the drop of the ball really well.
That one lands in the lap of Marnie. So K-Mac, 2 minutes on the clock to three-quarter time. You feel like the D's have had the better of the turn, but only 4 points to their name. As Bannon takes a great mark against Birch.
Yeah, it does largely feel like that in the third term, but how quickly can North Melbourne just turn a little opportunity into a goal? Melbourne need to run this all the way down.
Huge fly from Shannon. O'Shea under pressure. Kick hasn't gone far enough. Garner dumps it. Sheila over the top. Says slow it down, slow it down. They'll know from the bench they'll be able to hear that there's only 90 seconds left on the clock. Goes wide towards Carney. To Wall. Has plenty of grass in front of her. Takes her measure. Looks forward, Randall gets one arm to it. Eddie lurking. Gillard there, tries to flip it up towards Hanks. O'Loughlin, Taylor, Pearce. They're under pressure, the D's. The clearing kick just finds a little bit of grass. Skips away from Bannon. Marnie hard over the footy. Gets a little toe poke to it too. Illegally, said the umpire, kicking in danger.
That was a huge kick though from O'Hare to get it to the boundary side. That was so composed. Knew that the clock was running down, so just get it out of that dangerous area.
Eliza Shannon sends it towards Sheila. Goes up, couldn't pull it in. At the fall is Wall. Wheels around onto that left boot. Awkward kick inside the 50. A boundary throw-in will be the result as we tick towards three-quarter time.
Tensions are simmering down here on boundary level. You can really feel the tension in the air right now, and I think that things could boil over at three-quarter time.
Well, this is a free hit for North. If you're a forward or a mid, you've got to get on the move at the stoppage. Melbourne, you have to get arm across. Do not let them have a run at this.
Garner will be dangerous here. Shearlaw tackled. Taylor drags her down. Another stoppage. 27 seconds until the three-quarter time break in what has been an epic prelim so far. Can North find a goal to level things up? Horse kick towards the boundary line. And it goes over again. We're down to 18.
We just saw Jazz Garner at that last stoppage. It was Mackin that had her. She was half a step off. Has to play goal side of her. She is the one that is so dangerous if she gets half a metre of space.
So boundary throw in the ruse. Trail by a goal. Pearce down in front to Goldrick. He slams on the boot. It'll be Carney against Marnie. Marnie in front. Does enough in the contest. Gets wrapped up by Carney. These fans wanted two highs. There is that heat Nat was talking about. You've got to be smart here though. Bannon looks a little hot under the collar. They're going to give away a silly free kick with just 6 seconds on the clock to three-quarter time. Heath over the footy. Garner with the tackle. And they've held out that last thrust forward by North. D's, what a term it was. We saw no goal, but it was tight and it was tense. And they lead it by just that margin of 6 points. What a game we've got here. Prelim final at Icon Park, 1 quarter to play.
Coming up tonight, the second of the prelims, Carlton and Brisbane. This is going to be an absolute cracker. No idea who's going to go through from this game, let alone the next. Lots to look forward to in the AFLW.
All right, there we go. Three-quarter time here. It's Melbourne by 6 points. That's right. The underdogs in this game. Wolfie, I tell you what, yeah, the $1.10. Oh, she's pretty short for North Melbourne. I tell you what, They did look like about that going back a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, this Melbourne outfit, I don't know. I really don't know whether they'd be throwing games. Don't know if the players really want to be doing that, especially a game to get them in the grand final. Even if they did have a bit of a wager on, I think it's more important to them that they actually have a win. But Melbourne are just on fire at the moment. There's no stopping them at the moment. Tell you what, it's going to be an interesting final quarter. We're starting to get a little bit fiery there, just on the siren. Good to see the girls having a bit of push and shove there. Makes it a little bit interesting, but it was a tight quarter. North Melbourne, well, they didn't score in that quarter. That's the first time I've seen North Melbourne scoreless in a quarter. Melbourne, they could have put North Melbourne away there. They kicked 4 behinds. Could have stretched this margin right out. But I tell you what, within just a goal in it, just one kick, that's still anybody's game. I tell you what, I still like Melbourne the way they're playing at the moment. They have got all the answers today out there. Not much point looking at the goal scorers because they didn't change. Let's just have a look at the possession getters, see where they're going at the moment. Jasmine Garner tops the table for North Melbourne on 20. The only one in the 20s, Ash Riddell, 16. She's having a quiet game, just a 16. I know she's second out there on the disposal cash, but she is a real ball magnet for the norm. But yeah, today she's been reasonably well held. Maybe that's one of the reasons North Melbourne have been held back as well. Emma Keeney on 16, best for Melbourne. Paxi Paxman on 15, Kate Orr on 15, and Goldrick on 14. Although she's sharing on 13 with Tyler Banks. Also, a few of the girls now starting to pile in position. I tell you what, this is high quality game out there at Icon Park. As I said, about 21 degrees. Cloudy day, but the sun's peeking through, so it's just a perfect day for football out there. For football players, spectators and everyone. Not much wind about, so the game is absolutely for the best team. Who's going to win this? Look, we'll find out in about 20 minutes' time who's going to be going into the grand final for 2025. Brisbane or Carlton will be their opponents. Yeah, I certainly do like Brisbane as well. Brisbane are a pretty good team. I think they've hit form late in the season. They're going to be going pretty good. So it could be a Melbourne v Brisbane grand final. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Tell you what, the way things are going at the moment, if Melbourne wins this game, I think the winner might come out of this game. Who's going to win the flag? So if Melbourne happen to win, I think my money will be on Melbourne for the grand final. I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting to see what the odds are right now. Live odds right now are for Melbourne for the grand final, because it'd be worth having a bit of a piece of that, especially if they were still $18. But I don't think they'd be $18 just at the moment. North Melbourne, well, they're a good side, and good sides do come back. As I said, it's only a goal of difference here at three-quarter time at Icon Park. So we're going to find out in just a moment. Can they do it? Can they hang on? Well, we're just going to find out. Let's head back down to the commentators. We're only a minute or so away from the bounce of the ball for the final quarter. For one team, it's a grand final seat. For the other, it's time for vacation. We'll find out in about 20 minutes' time. Let's just head back down to the commentators, and then they'll take us back down to the ground for the final quarter, where it's Melbourne by 6 points.
Scoreless North Melbourne. Let's remember that North Melbourne, the Kangaroos, are on a 25-game winning streak. Meg McDonald, how do the Demons continue to put their foot down and close this one out?
Well, we saw them start to get that handball game going. We spoke about it off the top about how they exit stoppage. We watched this play here. Hanks is involved first possession, and then they chain it up. The use of McNamara's influence on the wing up at that contest is really impressive, and they just stay involved. They run at you, and she eventually gets the shot and goal. Would have loved to sink it, but we noticed that Croc had on his whiteboard, stay up and squeeze. North have to come forward in their defence of that play from Melbourne if they're going to continue to challenge them.
And Lauren Wood, the last time North Melbourne trailed at three-quarter time was round out 2023. We're talking 2 years ago against Melbourne. They went on to lose by 23 points.
Well, you'd be using that, wouldn't you, if you were Mick Stanier, of course, a premiership coach in his own right. They are so experienced in the coach's box. These two teams so experienced across every line on the field. Just we're in for some sort of last quarter, aren't we?
As you whispered to me a moment ago, they were streak starters. North Melbourne started the streak against Melbourne? Will they be the street stoppers? Because this is an extraordinary half of football coming your way. Men's, women's, amateur, professional. It doesn't matter. Sit down, enjoy this. The next half an hour, this champion side against the D's in a spot in the grand final up for grabs.
Quarter underway. Sheeran closed down, got it out to Reddy though. Reddy's kick goes through the hands there of Ebert. Ebert's tackled. Did she take them on? That's holding the ball. Shearlaw and Bogue involved. Shearlaw will have the free kick.
Shearlaw spent a large majority of the game behind the ball.
Short one's on. We've seen Riddell kick a goal from a little further out earlier in the game to this end.
Had to be awake to that for that exact reason, Al. We've already seen it play out this afternoon. Riddell popping up in a dangerous spot inside forward 50, taking an uncontested mark.
A look at focus to level the scores early in the final quarter of the prelim. It's not the contact she was after. It is marked by Chaplin.
That's Chaplin's 4th intercept mark for the game. I think the hammy's all good, Al.
Has to go long. Riddell, she might have another ping. Oh, but Sheeran's taken advantage. She might be ping behind the footy here. She is. So Riddell initially won the free kick. Sheeran took advantage and the umpire let them play. McNamara's had her kick chopped off. They go back inside 50 and again Chaplin up to the task. Well, sit with us. We've got 15 and a half minutes of big moments of footy here at Icon Park. Prelim final number 1. It's impossible to turn away. Sheeran again, hurriedly on the boot. Wall stands underneath. Chaplin flips it to Sheila, who's under pressure with the tackle. Nat, how are you seeing things on the sidelines?
The noise level here at Icon Park has just gone up a notch. Both supporter groups getting right around this contest. I'll come back to you in a minute with a big stat.
Randall's tackle, dragged down immediately. Hands go in. No ball comes out. Back to that in just a moment. The North square things up here with a goal. Wall gave it up to Chaplin. Delayed the hand pass, goes by foot, too much on it. It's over the head of O'Shea in the end. Carney there, off to O'Shea. O'Shea back inside 50, they'd set themselves a chance for Wall at the full, mown down. A potentially goal-saving tackle from Heath. And O'Hare brings Melbourne clear. Not quite. Riddell gets it. Bannon tackled. Sheeran gets her. Umpire will intervene. Down to you, Nat.
So the last time North Melbourne trailed at three-quarter time was round 8, 2023. That game was against Melbourne and they lost by 23 points.
They're right in this one, Melbourne again. Listen to that crowd here, riding every bump as Riddell throws it on the boot, up and under, through for a behind.
And Joe, further to that, I was talking to North Melbourne Chair Dr. Sonia Hood earlier today. She has brand new metallic blue shoes on. She's very superstitious. For the whole winning streak, has worn the same pair of lucky shoes, changed her shoes today.
It's a big talking point now.
One job.
That adds another layer of controversy and drama as Zanka bounces. Kicks toward Harris. Took it cleanly, immediately tackled, released it. Zanka taken, didn't have it. Birch should have been penalised there for that tackle, but in the end, play goes on and the whistle's probably going to go away a bit.
That was professional from Zanka though, because those moments where the ball bubbles out, that's where North can really start to run in numbers away from the contest. So no one had won that cleanly. She just conceded, got the stoppage and got the ball out.
Melbourne missed the finals last year, which was a shock in itself. Could they be about to cause one of the great shocks in the history of the AFLW and make it through to a grand final by toppling North Melbourne? Sheeran's got other ideas, but that is wide. Chaplin will have the free kick for the D's.
I've seen them be so controlled with the footy, K-Mac. But when the nerves come in and those kicks are short and they've got to be on the mark, and just add that element of pressure, can't it?
Certainly can, especially when you see the likes of Riddell, Garner looking at you and just giving you that teasing distance, trying to lure you into the kick that they can then close down. So it's just that, Joe. It's going to be who's going to be brave in these moments, who's still going to take those really difficult kicks back through the middle, because you can be the ultimate hero or you can be the ultimate villain by missing one.
Pearce wants front spot in this ruck contest. Smith gets it to Garner, hurriedly on the boot. Goldrick bet at best, couldn't complete the mark, and Bode streamed away with it. Oh, just gets her arm held onto by Gillard. What a save, what a tackle by Gillard.
She told Matt pre-game she had a few chase down tackles in her. Well, there's one.
Just got the outstretched arm of Bode. They've won the footy back here though, North. Eddie with the side step, then lost the footy. Goes back to find Gap. The run of Carney, looks inside 50. There's Gillard again with a hand in on Bode. Slaps it away towards Garner. Round the corner and offline. We saw in the first term both sides making the most of opportunities. Since then, both sides have left a few on the board. Let's check out this tackle.
Well,
Gillard.
Talia Gillard's grandfather would surely be looking down on that with immense pride. What a moment that was. The goals have dried up here, but you could not get a more compelling final as Pearce takes the mark. Pearce takes the time. Harris is a good option. Shannon makes the spoil.
And I think we're going to see a little bit more of that. So feel that, just really being careful with your possession, making sure that the disposal, if nothing's on, they're going long down the line. I guarantee you, though, the winner of this game will not win it by going long down the line and getting something off the back of that. These two teams are so explosive and dynamic when they take dangerous kicks.
Garner to Riddell. Hurriedly inside 50. Taylor's taken the mark. This back five for Melbourne have been superb this afternoon. Taylor up towards Hall. Back in near the boundary line. Just happy to see it over. So 9.5 minutes on the clock. And there's Kate Hall, the captain. What a final series she's had already. There's 2 goals next to her name this afternoon. I'm sure she's still got a part to play in this last 9 minutes. Hayden just tried to tap it back. Garner, who's really coming into it now. Lachlan gets it to Bogue, who's streaming inside 50. Lines up the big sticks and North have the lead. To her name. And the Roos have found the lead in this last term. What a ball game. Here's Darren Crocker in game number 75. It's been so many weeks since his side has been challenged. And the D's are up for the fight.
This one was from the clearance, and Jazz Garner, that's her 4th clearance for the game, but just so quick. As soon as she was the other side of that contest, there was absolutely no stopping her, and kicking at full pace like that, taking one step to really steady and execute is not as easy as Blaine Bogue just made that look. That is 3 goals in a final for her. She has been very, very important in the front half for North Melbourne.
So the Kangas back in front here. Heath out of the middle. Couldn't find a teammate with a hand pass. Desperate bodies flying in. Garner gets it clear. Well taken by Wall. Always turning onto her left. Garner riding shotgun. Randall up. Gillard right there with her. Melbourne's defence. They need to be clean. Gillard closed down by O'Loughlin. Gillard gets it now. Wall gets her. Umpire watches. Calls for a ball.
goes against Randall. Garner swooping. She's had 7 disposals in this last term alone. And now puts a goal next to her name. And suddenly that margin's out to 8 points.
This is the ball going inside 50, and that's 2 D's defenders just both playing the footy. That leads to this stoppage. Jazz Garner, what about 0.2 of a second there? She is that good. Give her that, she'll make you pay. That is the best player in the competition right there, standing up in the biggest moment of the season.
And Melbourne coach Mick Stinney has just made his way down to coach from the bench again.
Garner again, out of the middle. Chaplin, been a roadblock. McNamara, Heath had to wait. Coming out, Marnie, off to McNamara, bouncing ball. Shannon used the body well, takes possession. Hand pass didn't hit a target. Campbell there for Melbourne. Knocked it out, Hoare taken down. Picked up by King, slams it back into the middle, and Chaplin once more.
Got to open up the ground, got to make it big. They had kicks on there. Going to take it now, but that's how they're going to continue to pressure North.
Still plenty of time on the clock. Margin sits at 8. As Bannon takes it on the wing. They showed good maturity last week, Melbourne, against Adelaide. When Adelaide came, they were able to fight back. They've got to find that again this afternoon. Smith flips it up towards Carney, who's happy to be corralled over the boundary line.
Jazz Garner's 4th quarter numbers, 9 disposals, 4 clearances, 160 metres gained, 2 tackles, 1 goal, 1 and 4 score involvements. I'd be happy with that for the afternoon.
Just incredible, Jazz Garner. Still 7 minutes on the clock too. So North with the only 2 goals in this term. King down in front, that was clever by Tripodi. A little tap, perhaps a throw. Garner hurriedly on the boot, out towards Wall. Chaplin leads the raise, gets it to Goldrick, will be under pressure, got boot to ball. Garner on it again, didn't go far enough. McIntyre ran it, had to put the tackle in. So does Hank, so they're crashing in hard over the footy. Bruton emerges with it, gets it to Garner. The only 2 waiting there. D's.
O'Shea read it, but McNamara aided by a good kick from Gillard.
Chaplin coming off the ground with cramp. Obviously hasn't played for a good couple of weeks. It's a pretty hot day here in Melbourne. They need her back out there, though. She's been one of their best.
What can Harris do here for Melbourne? Had a great first half. Good hand pass to Marnie. Marnie kicks inside the 50. Hoare is there. Ferguson with her. Carney picks up. Hoare gets up. Knocks it out of her hands. She's got 2 to beat. Takes Ferguson. Carney out towards the boundary line. Shannon's there. Is she on the cusp of the grand final? Having missed out last year. The umpire will ball it up. Just under 6 minutes to go. Discomfort everywhere. It has been attritional and tough stuff, this preliminary final.
Chaplin's got the pickle juice on the boundary. Hurried kick comes out. Hoare dangerous near the boundary line. Worried out of it by Ferguson. It'll be a boundary throw in deep inside the forward 50 for the D's.
And North forward Talia Randall's currently off as well with cramp too.
So Chaplin has just been enormous for them today. 22 disposals next to her name. Hanks, Sheeran gets it to Tripodi. Clearing kick important. Gillard charges at it. Bruton strong over the footy. McNamara swoops on it. Can't get a clean hand pass away, but Hanks able to reel it in. Gillard just a dump kick over the corner inside 50. Zanke got hands to it. Fitzsimon over the top. Receives it now. And they'll find a mark inside 50. The D's they can't. Sheila can, and she's away.
Into the middle she goes. She was told to play on. The foot race. The speeds just go to work. Gillard needs support. Has it in Goldrick. She's closed down. Just got boot to ball. Waiting for it is Smith. Kicks it out into the path of Bogue. Bogue is tackled. Great work from Goldrick. Tripodi gets it. Didn't hit the target with the hand pass, but Smith goes to work again and feeds it infield. Riddell, a rare fumble. Off to Tripodi. Tries to link up. O'Shea was clever. Sheeran's away. Sheeran's a good kick from 50. Could she finish it? No. 4 minutes to go. Grand final spot up for grabs. North by 9.
So the D's have got to go here now. McNamara looks out towards Zanka. Birch strong in the contest. Zanka rips her to the deck. Ball spills free. O'Shea to Carney. Tripodi. Oh, Riddell load into the deck by Waterspoon. Just a little too untidy in the tackle. Had her cold. Riddell dump it inside 50. Wall with a good early push on Taylor. All this chewing up time too. As Taylor gets a hand pass partially smothered. Fitzsimon. O'Loughlin kicked it into a teammate. Fitzsimon just dumps it out. Good pick up initially by Marnie, but then lost a handle. Okay, Riddell with the grab. They've got to reload from here, the D's. And they've got to move it quickly, which they haven't today really came at.
Just been so careful with their ball use, particularly in this fourth term. As you said, Joe, before, now is the time to go, though.
Gillard finds Marnie. North so professional in the way they set things up. Can they find a way through them? They've got to take risks. Goldrick to Harris. Harris kicks out into space, but Shannon's there first for North Melbourne. Off to Smith. Smith's hand pass hit the deck. Garner's caught dispossessed. Smith goes again. Bogue comes to meet it. Kicks towards the teeth of goal. McNamara getting back. Wall there with her. Took her out. Paddled towards the goal square. Under the pump is Lampard. Craven smother on the McNamara kick. O'Loughlin caught. McNamara surely will win a holding the ball decision. Under 2 minutes though to find 2 goals for the D's.
Relentless pressure from both teams. Huge moments, but as I say, Al, they've got to go and they've got to go quickly now. 2 goals in less than 2 minutes.
McNamara spears it to Hall. Takes it off. Through the middle, the kick was for Zanka. Didn't have enough on it, and Rennie's chopped it off. Looks wide to Craven, who's waving her arms. Takes the grab, can go wider to O'Shea, soaking up the seconds. O'Shea looks inside, 50. Wall the target again. O'Loughlin, up and under. Has it got the bend? Has it got the bend? The goal line O'Hare. He got rid of it, and then Bruton got rid of her. We heard from Matt Edwards, there's plenty of feeling in this one.
Fitzsimon belts it. Wotherspoon off her hand. Might take possession of it. Tackle dispossessed. Smith still going at it. Desperation everywhere. Clock now seriously the enemy of Melbourne. Fitzsimon goes towards Pearce with a height advantage. Takes the mark. No one over the top though. Everyone had pushed up the ground. Mackin's really got not much to go to. Pause, always a good option. They dish it off. Taylor's caught. Didn't know where to go. North Melbourne coming up trumps in every area at the moment. Having stared down this stern Melbourne challenge, the champions are going to go on as Randall goes out wide and finds Craven.
A tackle from Libby Birch was clutch there, had to come up, put pressure on Taylor, did so, got the turnover.
Fitzsimon streams from defensive 50. It's the 1-2, doesn't like an option up forward, so goes to Hall, who goes to Mackin. They try and chain it by hands through the middle. Rennie disrupts it momentarily. McNamara has tried her heart out all day. Ferguson. The D's did everything they could, but North Melbourne were up to the task. They go to their 3rd grand final, looking for back-to-back premierships. Well, that
is just one of the best AFLW games we have ever seen. Icon Park absolutely heaving right now. More than 7,000 fans in the house. And what have we just witnessed? North Melbourne surviving the biggest scares of all time in a preliminary final, and they fall over the line against an exhausted Melbourne. It was the D's by 7 at quarter time. It was the D's by 2 at half time, by 6 at three-quarter time, and 2 goals to none in the final term. Get North Melbourne over the line, and their quest for back-to-back premierships remains on track. They're the first side into the 2025 AFLW Grand Final, and the relief for the blue and white is there for all to see. Lauren Wood and Meg McDonald. Just when we were starting to pull out, I was looking at the great underdog victories. We had sort of Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao. We were talking Lauren Kieran Perkins in Atlanta, Prince of Penzance a decade ago in the Melbourne Cup, Sam Stosur against Serena Williams, and up bobbed the icon of Icon Park, Jazz Garner.
Beautifully put, Kel, and summed up that last quarter brilliantly. Melbourne took it to the champs, and did they what? They went toe-to-toe with them for the better part of 3 and a bit quarters. But I tell you what, that is when that experience, that maturity really comes to the fore, doesn't it, Megan? Led by none other than their skipper, Jasmine Garner. She is superhuman. I saw her referred to during the week as the prototype player, and gee, in that last quarter she was exactly that. She got the ball, she kicked the goals, she was unbelievable.
Clearances, hit the scoreboard, owned possession. She was unbelievable, and we never should have doubted her. She was, as you said, superhuman in that fourth quarter, and she was ultimately the difference. You made the great point that perhaps we saw some fatigue from Melbourne coming in that fourth quarter. They've had to play consecutive weeks, and not so for North. They were fresh and ready to play that fourth quarter out.
Okay, Jess Webster's got the woman at the moment. She is the icon of Icon Park, Jazz Garner.
Thanks, Kel. I am with the icon of Icon Park, Jazz Garner. Congratulations. The dream of back-to-back stays alive. You must be so proud at how you guys really dug deep today and got through.
Oh, definitely. Melbourne threw it all at us, and it was just a great game of footy, and that's just finals footy. Like, you got to be up for the fight, and yeah, we dug deep in that last quarter, and yeah, it's a pretty special win.
How much does it mean to have been so challenged today? Like, did you really need a game like this, do you think, to prepare yourself for a grand final?
Yeah, definitely. I think we said it at half time, like, this is finals footy, it's not easy, and yeah, we really embraced the challenge, and yeah, Croc loves turning challenges into opportunities, so that's exactly what we did. And yeah, credit to Melbourne, they honestly played some great footy, and it was a real arm wrestle, and yeah, that last quarter we really had to put up a fight.
How did you take it to another level? You were extraordinary.
I think just bringing it back to basics, you know, just getting the ball forward, just doing what I do best, and yeah, really working with the other middies to, yeah, you know, get the footy, get it going forward, getting our forwards an opportunity, so we're able to do that.
Tell me how good, though, it felt when that goal went through.
It did. It's one of those ones when it's in close and you just get it on your boot quickly and it flies through, and yeah, the crowd was awesome. They really got up and about, and yeah, really loved that one.
And you're back here again, you host it next week, but tell me just quickly on this crowd, the support you've got here are unreal. They really give you a boost, don't they?
They do. Even when we run out for the warm-up before the game, you can really hear them, and yeah, they're a great bunch and they really get behind us, so we just love it.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the granny.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
The wild celebrations continue. What about that story? The Irish woman didn't play a game until the start of this year. Laheen Bogue, she finished with 3. And Taylor Harris gave her all. We'll talk about Melbourne in a moment. But Meg McDonald, you have been a 2-time All-Australian. You've been the captain of the Geelong Football Club, recently retired. The best teams have a core of players that are very coachable and a sprinkling of individuals who do things that you just can't coach. And that is Jasmine Garner.
Yeah, she's unbelievable, and she's been a stalwart of the competition. She's one of the reasons that the competition existed. She was an incredible player before 2017. She is an icon. She kicked the first ever goal in the competition. You know, she's won best on ground in a grand final. She's captained her side. She's played 100 games. She's everything that you'd hope for in a leader. And it's those leaders, it's those upper echelon of the North Melbourne players that allow them to induct other players one by one. We made the same point about Melbourne, but you know, Jazzy's excellence here is, you know, matched with Carneys, with Ash Riddells, with those experienced players that they've got, it means that you can have a player like Blohin Bogue who comes in, she's made to do her time. Last year she was in the system, but she watched and she learned the system, and then, you know, she comes out and she kicked 3 goals in a prelim final and is in all likelihood going to be an All-Australian. So it's that experience and the way that they build their team year on year that really means that they're back there again.
Talk about the final system every year, every competition. The week off for North Melbourne, the D's early in that final term were gassed.
They were, and I think the weather conditions probably played into that a little bit as well. Magnificent conditions for spectators, but 24 degrees when you've played every single weekend of the finals and taken the scenic route to a prelim. I think it's safe to say we saw Maeve Chaplin, who I know has missed a couple of weeks with that hamstring as well. She was struggling with cramping in that last quarter, and the pickle juice was flowing across the team as they desperately looked for some sort of help in that last quarter. But North, as we said, sat pretty last week, sat back and watched, and were fresh and ready to fire this week. Mia King in there too, another one for next week.
Sonia Hood, the president of North Melbourne. Here we go for the 26th consecutive time, the North Melbourne song. That sign says it all, doesn't it? Talk to me, Lauren, about the crowd. It was absolutely incredible, and a lot of them were North Melbourne fans.
Well, they don't have to travel far to Icon, do they? It's a suburb. Perfect scenario for them, and they have been behind this women's team since the very beginning. More than 7,000 people at Icon Park for what was arguably the best final that we've seen since last week, no less. So it was an absolute beauty of a game and a beauty of a crowd, the biggest crowd that we've seen this AFLW final series. So they certainly turned out, and whether it is against Carlton or Brisbane next Saturday night, back at Icon Park, they'll be sure to turn out in force yet again. Absolutely. Just a quick word on Melbourne, I guess, and the performance that they put in today.
Yeah, I was very, very impressed by them. You're right, Lauren. I think fatigue came in late because the system that they were playing and the way that they were trying to take the game off North was really working for them for 3 quarters. But there was a passage of play towards the end of the 4th quarter where you had Wotherspoon, O'Hare, these Marnie, these kids that are involved, and that's what I think North don't have at the moment. They've got a senior group of players. Melbourne, we've been impressed with how they've rebuilt since that 2022 flag, and they'll just continue on an upward trajectory if they've got the leaders that they have and the talent that they have. I think, you know, they're an incredibly impressive team, and they've done very well to almost make it to another granny.
And their coach, Mick Stanier, I believe is out of contract. He's been there for 10 years. There's 3 coaching jobs up for grab. So you never know that you think the phone would be ringing from Geelong and Sydney and the Adelaide Crows at some point. Let's get back to Icon Park, and Jess Webster is with the star Irish woman who kicked 3 goals, Blohin Bogue.
Thanks, Kel Blohin. What a performance from you. But you're through to an AFLW Grand Final. Tell me what's going through your mind right now.
Oh, I'm just buzzing, to be honest. The last quarter, when we were going out, I just didn't want this to be my last game. I wasn't prepared to not be going back to training this week. So I think all the girls were the same, and the pressure we put on in the first 5-10 minutes, I just think we knew that we had an extra gear in us, and thankfully we went direct through.
You're one of the great stories of the season of the AFLW. You've had to fight so hard to get your opportunities in this North Melbourne side. Does it make it feel that extra bit sweeter knowing how hard you've worked to get here?
Yeah, of course. Look, I have a great team around me, great coaching staff, and I think they had faith in me to play a role, and like, we're all just playing roles, and thankfully I'm playing my role okay to still be on the side. So yeah, I'm just grateful that I've been given the opportunity at the start of the year, and yeah, I just try to keep ticking on.
It seems like you really want this. You really want to have a successful AFLW career. What does it really mean for you to play in a grand final next week?
Yeah, I suppose like we're packing up our lives, we're moving across the world, with families, jobs, friends at home. So when you come out here, you kind of just want to give it your best shot. There's no point doing half measures. So the ultimate prize is to win a grand final, and thankfully we're one game away to getting that. So yeah, I'll just have to keep kicking on this week of training and hopefully get there next week.
Speaking of family, they're not here today. I don't believe they're going to be here next week. Do you want to look down the camera and say a few words to them?
Yeah, no, just thanks for getting up 4 a.m. and I know you're very proud of me and I love you very much. So, yeah.
Amazing, well deserved. Cannot wait to see you in the grand final next week. Thank you. Thanks, Wayne.
It is a remarkable story, Meg McDonald-Bogue. They played her, as you said, in the twos all last year. She learned, to have the luxury to be able to do that and learn the game, unlike a lot of the Irish women who are thrown straight into this competition and have to learn the rules and the differences between Gaelic. But it's quite a stunning story to kick 3 in a prelim, come in, be one of their leading goal kickers for the season, as you said, maybe all Australian.
Yeah, all different types of goals too. I love that interview. What I was really impressed with was hearing her passion for the game and knowing that the ultimate success is, the ultimate goal is playing in a grand final. I often think if the roles were reversed, it would be difficult to go and fall in love with another code as much as we love it ourselves and as much as the opportunity for professionalism is ahead of them. I really love that she seems to love the sport of AFL and she's bought in, and look at her passion in the fourth quarter. You know, she said that they felt they had another gear to go to, and that was evident to see. They all lifted it, and she sunk it.
Yeah, absolutely. We continue to talk about Ghana. She's going to be the talking point again in the grand final. You're at the Herald Sun. You have to find another angle on Jazz Ghana. I mean, she's just an unparalleled magician in the way she goes about it. She's got such balance, such power, such grace. We know she's unflappable, but it's the extreme pressure. This is the fourth quarter stats. The extreme pressure, rather than crumble, it sharpens her concentration, and that's what the champions do.
That's right. These moments is where she rises. And really, days like today are the fruit of pre-season after pre-season. I remember speaking to Darren Crocker a few years ago about just why she was so good in moments like this. And he said he would look out his window at Arden Street on a day when, players weren't supposed to be back at pre-season for weeks, but there she was doing the work. She'd be out there running, working on her skills in her own time. That was when players were not contracted for the 12 months. So she's always been a player, we spoke about her earlier, who might not be outward in her self-belief, but that is a really core asset of hers, that she really believes in herself. Meg, you spoke about her long history in the women's game. She was playing senior football as a teenager. So realistically, games like this, she is hardened. She's battle hardened for these finals, and she's just got that experience that really rises to the top.
Absolutely, Loz. She's a footy player first and foremost, and one of the stats that I'm not sure went on the screen there was her metres gained. So she said in her interview it was time to take the ball forward, and that's what you need. You need field position. North hadn't been able to really penetrate deep consistently and lock it in their forward half. She had 242 metres gained in the fourth quarter alone, which is more than half of what she had for the match.
That's extraordinary.
Really,
to go with
decision making is as elite as anything else.
What she had 8 disposals in the first 7 minutes of that quarter. So she finished with 32 and a goal, 11 handballs, 2 marks, and the 8 tackles. Absolutely extraordinary. Any changes for grand final week that you can see at all for this unstoppable team?
Well, Mia King is the one to watch. We saw her at the centre of those celebrations on the ground in a polo shirt rather than a Guernsey. She's had that knee injury for a number of weeks now, is still listed as a test. We know when it comes to a grand final, you'd be testing yourself right to the limit. She's been such a key player for them in that midfield, alongside the likes of Garner, Riddell, Bruton. She has been, one of the key 4 in there. So she'd be a key player to come back in for Darren Crocker. But geez, when you've got a team like this, I mean, who do you take out? For someone like Mia King, you'd be weighing up plenty. I know Darren Crocker's mind, while he'll be enjoying this, he'll already have a mind to next Saturday night.
Has the AFL confirmed the time, the date, the place, all of that?
Well, time to be confirmed, but we know it will be a night game. So we are assuming at the moment that it will be 7:30. They've confirmed that
at Icon Park.
If it was to be held at Icon Park, which now it will be, hosted, of course, by North Melbourne, it will be a night game. So I would assume 7:30. We'll, of course, be live here on Fox Footy no matter what time.
And we're going to be live here later this evening for the other preliminary final to determine who North Melbourne will play in the 2025 grand final. Will it be the Brisbane Lions? Will it be the Blues? Of course, the Lions are hosting Carlton later this evening from their home in Springfield in Ipswich in Brisbane. Take us into the thoughts of the Kangaroos. They're not even thinking about it now because they're celebrating, but would you rather play the Blues or would you rather play Brisbane? They played Brisbane in round 5 at Springfield and they won by 29 points. It was the closest they came up until today. They also played they played Carlton at Arden Street in round 6 and won by 53.
I think you'd have to say you probably prefer to play Carlton, given the fact that Brisbane has beaten them to premierships in the past. They've got a long history together, and Brisbane undoubtedly has that belief that they can match it with them. Then again, I don't know that a team is in as much of a sweet spot as Carlton is at the moment, and the emotion that's surrounding that team, the enjoyment, the Veronicas, it's all happening for them at the moment. So they're a vastly different team to the team that they were halfway through the year. So I don't think it's going to matter for North, to be honest. I mean, whoever they come up against, they'll have unbelievable self-belief. And you could make an argument that at the end of the game, they felt like they got through their biggest hurdle today.
It's going to be an interesting matchup, isn't it? I mean, you've got the powerhouse of Brisbane, the experience, but momentum is such an immeasurable object in this game, isn't it, if you could call it that. And as you say, Carlton, they are riding every single wave that you could possibly be riding in football at the moment, and it's been working for them. It will be really interesting to see after what we saw this afternoon with Melbourne of playing that extra week of football against a team that has had the week off the week prior, whether that comes to the fore again tonight with Carlton having to travel. There's been so much emotion surrounding that team. Does